What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining. I'm going to kind of slow roll here to give people a few minutes to trickle in. Hopefully, we get 5 to 25 people in here. If you're here for the best ball, you're in the right place. So, I'm going to be doing 2 drafts tonight. Going to start off with the little board, kind of get warmed up, and then we're going to go over to the big board. The goal is to draft 2 bangers out of 2 drafts. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, we get some good spots in the draft order. For those that don't know me, my name is Matt Holzel. I am a software developer by trade. That's what I do during the day, and then in my free time, I like to play fantasy football. I've started a couple different projects. Most recent one being fantasyfitness.io. That is an application, web app where you can go and do some player research and learn about different NFL players, help do some research for your fantasy football teams. Check it out when you get a minute. I pull in the top headlines every day. I spotlight a different team, a different prospect, and a different player every day. If you play on FFPC or Sleeper, you can pull your rosters in, and those are automatically updated each and every time that you select your roster. So integration with Sleeper and integration with FFPC to pull in your rosters. And then I do some pretty fun things here. Once your roster gets loaded up, you can see which league you're in, what platform you're playing on, what format, what scoring type. You can add roster player notes. So for each individual player, you can add a player note for that individual dynasty league. And from there, you can also, at a high level, view all of your notes for a given team. So that is the integration, in this case with FFPC, but as I mentioned, we do Sleeper as well. Some cool metrics at the top. You can kind of see your roster structure, what teams your players belong to, so team exposure, bye-week breakdown, game stacks, things of that nature. In Dynasty, we care about our contracts, so we'll see what our contract situations look like and when our players become free agents, and then those weeks 15, 16, and 17 matchups for championship weeks. So that's just a little taste of Fantasy Fitness, the application that I've been working on. As I mentioned, you get all the player pages as well and team pages. So when you click on an individual player, it'll give you their overall rank at their position, their what the algorithm ranks them at their talent score, the grade, and then the rank, and then the team score or team environment. Some stats from last year and then their career, so you can kind of do a comparison. How many receptions did they catch last year versus their career average, and kind of see which way they've trended recently. There's their athleticism, their size, speed score, their explosiveness, and their agility. And then their 40 time relative to the average wide receiver, for their position, in this case, wide receiver. Chase ran a 4.39. The average wide receiver 40 time in the NFL is 4.49. So he's quite fast relative to the average wide receiver. And then we rank out their team environment. So this opportunity score comes based on how much passing that particular offense has available, and then their share of it. His competition amongst the other wide receivers on his team, quality of the O-line, which in the case of Cincinnati isn't very good. The quarterback rank, so in this case, Joe Burrow, how does he grade out? And so Jamar is tethered to a good wide receiver in this case, and then coaching, which is sort of a number we come up with, but it's nothing really special. You can see the positional competition on his team, and then we have tail of the tape, so you can just see a bit about how well they, their craft in the film room, and then a breakdown of their coach and their head coach and offensive coordinator. So you'll get that with every player page. As I mentioned, we pull in the news every single day from 5 major sources: Yahoo Sports, CBS Sports, ESPN, NBC Sports, and the fantasy footballers. So you'll get about 50 articles a day that get refreshed, and then they're broken down by news, rankings, dynasty, best ball, and DFS. So that's definitely worth checking out. That's all free. There is obviously some paid services as well, like I said, with the integration of your rosters and some of the AI stuff. A cool feature that I built that I really love is the front office. This is really just honestly a setting. You go into your profile, you turn on front office mode, and when you do that, when you log in, you get to go right into your office. And from here, you can look at your trophy case and see what titles you've won recently. You can dial up your other GM buddies and talk some smack, which is always fun. So you have access to your phone. And then you go to your computer, and that's when you dive into your research, be it the news, be it the player spotlight, your roster integrations, the social feed. And as I mentioned, when I spotlight a player, I'm pulling in their tape, so you get to see some cool tape on some of these guys as well. So definitely worth checking out. Fantasyfitness.io. That's just one of the projects that I'm working on. So with that being said, let's jump back over to Underdog, and we're going to go ahead and probably do 2 best ball drafts tonight. I want to start off with the little board just to kind of get warmed up. This is a 20 max entry. 20 max entry, $3 buy-in. We have 20. It's a 20 round draft, and it's going to have a total of 189,000 entrants. The advancement structure is 2 out of 12, so you got to be pretty aggressive here. You really got to finish, very strongly in your pod, and then a 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10 with a 315 seat final. So 100,000 goes to first, 50,000 to second, 25,000 to third, and so on. So we'll start off with this draft tonight, and then we'll move over to the big board, the $10 buy-in for the 200,000. While let me get into here. Let me get this puppy started. See how long it's going to take to fill. We're about halfway. We'll give that a few minutes. But I guess while we wait, we can kind of talk a little bit about the board and some of the players on the board. Maybe we'll just kind of focus on the first 2 rounds and maybe where some of the risk and maybe where I see some of the mispricing. We can nitpick, of course, in these first 2 rounds. That's pretty much what you have to do when you're talking about players of this talent level, but we'll nitpick nonetheless. I think an area where maybe you could make a case for Ja'Marr at 3 over Puka, with his talent level, with his quarterback. I know Burrow and Stafford are close, but I'd probably give the edge to Burrow at this point in his career. Chase is obviously a demon, and he used to go, last year he was going first off the board. So to be going at 4, I think that's good value, and probably you could definitely make a case for him to go, be going ahead of Puka. I don't see why that would be controversial. Going down the board a little bit further, obviously JSN had a great season. Jonathan Taylor, same until the quarterback situation there with Daniel Jones kind of derailed that a little bit. Christian obviously finished great, but he's getting up there in age. I think there's definitely some risk there. A lot of, there's some offensive line turnover. I think you saw maybe today that Trent Williams is going to be released in San Francisco. So, you got to ask yourself, is Christian gonna kind of continue to perform like he did this year, next year, right? We're drafting for next year. We're not drafting for the year that just happened. So he wasn't as efficient in the running game. He obviously is always so efficient in the passing game, but there is probably, some questions about just how he's going to do going forward. I think I would probably put Amra St. Brown above CD, but that's also pretty close. But I think you could make a case for that, especially with Pickens there and his talent. Um, so Amra versus CD, maybe you flip those. And then I think at the end of the first round, Achane probably carries the most risk here. Um, Although the O line in Las Vegas isn't that great either. I think there's a ton of turmoil in Miami, new coaching staff, pretty bad ownership. Um, just, I don't know, no real clarity at the quarterback position. Are they going to use Achane the same way that Mike McDaniel used Achane in the passing game? I think there's a lot of questions there. So if he were a few spots lower, would I be okay with that? I think so. Although of course Genty has his issues with the O line and the new coaching staff as well. And then Justin Jefferson, he's got his question marks at quarterback. But I would probably push both those guys up, maybe above Achane. We could debate that. Still waiting for 5 more people here. We'll give this a few more minutes. If it really slows down, then we'll just jump straight over to the big board because I know those rooms are filling quickly. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. If there's anything on your mind, any player takes, or just general observations that you guys are seeing in these rooms. If you've been doing your best, doing any best ball drafts thus far. Those are kind of my thoughts on the first round. Second round, I have some concerns about Trey McBride going this high. I love Trey McBride as much as the next guy. I know he's had 2 great seasons there in Arizona. They are also dealing with a new coaching staff. And for those that haven't heard, they're bringing in the uber talented Nathaniel Hackett. I say that jokingly, at offensive coordinator. He was formerly on the offensive staff in Green Bay. Then he got hired on by the Denver Broncos as their head coach. Was a absolute disaster. For those that aren't familiar with his tenure there in Denver, it was horrible. And then was fired, went to the Jets, performed terribly as the OC for the Jets, was fired, and I think has been sitting on a couch until maybe this year. So I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that. Anyways, I say all that to say Trey McBride at the price that he's going now seems pretty rich, especially when you have somebody like Bowers going 6 spots behind him, and you could make the case that Bowers should be going ahead of him. I mean, he's probably more talented. He's got a Kubiak offense that he's going to be, syncing up with Gary Kubiak's son, who's going to be the quarterback, the head coach of the Vegas Raiders. So, when I see a gap like that between Trey McBride and Brock Bowers, I'm skeptical. Who's mispriced. I'm gonna say, Trey McBride should be coming down a little bit. Although, should he be going behind Malik Nabers, Drake London, Saquon Barkley? I don't know. I just think that it's a pretty rich price for Trey McBride. I understand why the market does what it does sometimes, but I'm having trouble making that click. I kind of just go, I'll get Bowers instead. That being said, Malik Nabers seems to be coming along pretty well in his rehab. Drake London's always so interesting to me. Like, we are obsessed with putting this guy in like the back, at the 1-2 turn, and he seems to never live up to the hype. if we look at his statistics, I mean, he's only had a 1,000-yard season once in his 4-year career, although he did have 7 touchdowns last year. I'll give him that. Um, Pretty low catch rate. Uh, I don't know. Never been a huge Drake London fan. Let me know what you guys think on that. Waiting for 3 more, and we'll get this party started if it hasn't already started for you guys, because it started for me. Let me just kind of check the comments, make sure that I'm keeping up on everything. Appreciate you guys joining. Okay, waiting for 2 more, or excuse me, 3 more. What else? Let me keep going. Finish out this second round, and then hopefully by then we'll be drafting. Yeah, Brock Bowers. I'm super excited about him this year. I like the price. I like the fact that there's a good chance that Mendoza is going to be coming in. We've got Kubiak running the show now. I think that was a good solid hire. He's got the coaching bloodlines with his dad, Gary, and then great offensive mind. Just won a Super Bowl with Seattle. So I'm just excited about that hire. I think that should be good for Brock Bowers and Las Vegas in general. And then Derrick Henry here, kind of towards the middle back of the second. I think that's probably about as rich as his price should get, but I can make that click every now and then. Probably won't be necessarily at market, but I will have some Derrick Henry, of course. And then Chase Brown. I mean, he had a rough middle stretch to the season last year when Burrow was out, but once Burrow came back, like you can really kind of just see, his explosiveness and his ability to kind of score from anywhere on the field. So, like Chase Brown, I think obviously he's a little expensive there at the end of the second, but yeah, definitely want to get a few shares. Pickens feels a little rich. Nico feels great. Olave feels great. So yeah, I don't know, just a couple things there on my mind. Waiting for 1, and we will be off and running. Been mixing up the draft structures, doing a lot of early running back, where it makes sense to kind of get 2 or 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds, and then kind of focus on wide receivers, with some upside, rookie upside and things of that nature in kind of the middle rounds. And obviously sprinkling in your quarterbacks. Like to get 2 pretty elite quarterbacks for the most part. Don't mess around too much with the rookies, and I just want to kind of get that situation handled in the top 120 picks or so. Tight end, I'll pretty much do anything with tight end. I'll go super late, get 3, late kind of darts with a lot of athleticism, rookies or second year guys. I'll go Bowers and then wait a while, and kind of tack on like a Ferguson, like a Terrence Ferguson, or like an Andrews later because he's going in the 150. So there's lots of ways you can kind of play the tight end position this year. But yeah, doing a lot of like robust RB and hero RB so far. Haven't done a ton of zero RB thus far this season. Waiting for 1. It's taken a minute. I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. This is only my second stream of the year, so I'm a little rusty. I also am going to be bringing guests on. I hope pretty frequently to kind of just add some color commentary, bring on some different takes. I like to be collaborative in this approach. Wow, we just had 3 people drop out just like that. Not good. Just want to check a few things to see if any of my streamer friends might be lurking. Let's pop on. Let's see. We'll give this another minute. I guess. Are we just gonna go over to the maybe we just go over to the big board because this thing is like choking out right now. All right, that's what we're doing. We're gonna flee like everybody else. Heading over to the big board. We're waiting for 10, 9. Okay. We can always play the game where we go in both rooms and wait for the whichever one fills up faster. We can do that too. Because I know y'all just want to see a draft. If we're just being honest, right? Y'all just want to see a draft. You guys just want to see players come off that board. Yeah, you can see how much quicker the big board is filling. All right. Waiting for 4 in the big board. Okay. Just give it a minute. You guys just get a drink, get some coffee, whatever it is that you're sipping on, and get ready to enjoy a really good, informative, hopefully, entertaining, possibly draft. Any comments, feel free to drop them into the comment section, be it on X or YouTube, wherever you may be viewing this broadcast. Okay, we are going to exit the little board. I'm just going to exit and we're going to go to the big board because we're 2 away and this thing is moving much more quickly. Appreciate you guys jumping on late to learn some best ball. We'll talk some theory. We'll talk some player takes. We'll look for the mispriced assets on the board, be it the overpriced assets or underpriced assets, where we see value right now, because obviously this board is going to change a ton between now and the big board. Now and BBM. So we got dropped in right here at the 106. Looks like we're in a room with a bunch of badges. There's one no badge here, but everybody else has a badge. So we are in for a treat. This should be pretty competitive, hopefully, but we are going to reign supreme. Now we ended up going with the big board, and that structure is a little bit different. That's a 3 out of 12, 110, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10 with a 558 seat final. 223,000 entrants in this one, and it's a 20 round draft. Let's see how this goes. I do like the early to middle part of the draft, so this should be fun. You guys have any questions, comments, criticism? Drop it in the comments. I'm here for it. We will have to see what these next 3 do, but looks like this guy's taking his time. Okay, Puka, then Chase. All right. I'm going to go JT. Nothing crazy on this one. We'll just kind of start off chalk. I do like Christian, but he is a little bit older. You've got, some risk with that O-line. There's going to be some turnover there. I don't think he's going to continue to get the volume necessarily in the rushing game. I know we all want to, hope for 25 touches a game for Christian McCaffrey, but there is a chance that there could be some more touches to go around there. Not sure that Robinson's going to be back. Brian Robinson, that is. He's a free agent. But Jordan James, he's also there. I think he has a chance to get some playing time. But we'll see. So after that, looking at the board, you had St. Brown go next, then HN. I think that's kind of a surprise for me. Then McCaffrey at 9, Cook at 10, Lamb at 11, Hampton at 12. So a Hampton Genty start here. Jefferson at 14, London at 15, and then McBride bringing it back around here. Okay. Do you like Love? I am gonna go ahead and start off robust RB. Maybe some Saquon. Nothing crazy. One pick past ADP, but whatever, we'll take it. Like I said, I do kind of like these robust RB starts right now. I do think there's a lot of value with the wide receivers in the middle rounds. You get too early like this, it takes a little bit of pressure off. I think at that position, and there's so many wide receivers. You got the rookie upside with the guys like Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Lemon out of USC, who's a demon. So it's a lot of fun to kind of get some of that upside. Those guys are going to be early. You're going to have some really strong draft capital. You don't have to worry too much about those top 3 at least. After that, it gets a little shaky. But yeah, there's just a lot of and we'll see it as we go along. We'll see all the kind of the wide receiver value here in those middle rounds. But now we've kind of secured 2 workhorses in Jonathan Taylor and in a Shane Steichen offense, who was an absolute demon, but for a few games towards the end of last season. And then Saquon Barkley, yes, he had a disappointing season. Undoubtedly, there was a lot to do with the offensive line. They had the changes at OC. I think they're in for a little bit of a bounce back season. Hopefully Lane Johnson comes back healthy, because he's really the engine on that O-line that keeps things going. Jurgens was also in and out of the lineup last year, and he's a really good center. So yeah, I like this start. I'm not going to say I love this start, but I think it's a solid start. So we'll see what happens here at 30. Kind of just seeing how the board wrapped around. So Bowers, then Henry, Nico, Pickens, Bucky. Brown gets pulled up here on the corner, and then Chase Brown, Chris Olave. This guy's doing kind of a 0 RB start. Reese. Six seconds. All right, Kyron gets pulled up. All right. I like Tet here. We want to get our hands wet with some wide receivers. Otherwise, we could go Jacobs, but I'm going to go ahead and let's get the wide receivers going. Tet was impressive last year as a rookie. Obviously, it took a little bit to get going, but they're on an ascending offense, I would say. They made it to the playoffs, although it was close. In terms of getting in, good coaching staff. I think Bryce is doing good enough. I don't think he's a world beater or anything, but he seems to be getting a little bit more comfortable each year. Obviously, his rookie year and even a little bit of sophomore year was pretty shaky, and even a little bit last year at times. But I think he's got the job for another season. And Tet looked really good. He's impressive. So we'll start off with Tet. See how this goes. Just some other observations. I think Garrett Wilson is really well priced on this board, not just this board, but in general. I think his ADP is it's attractive at that cost. He's obviously a really good wide receiver. Don't love the fact that he's on the Jets, but I like his price tag this year. Javonte just got the big contract, 3-year deal for the Cowboys. Adams still holding up in terms of his price, but obviously he's getting older. Let's see what the board has for us here. All right, so I like JMO, I like Zay. I think for me, and I like Emeka. Those would probably be my 3. I just love these 3 guys. I'm gonna go Zay. Just love his. I like his game a lot. He's gotten better every year. We look at his. Let's see. Zay Flowers. Let's look at him. So he's already got 2,000-yard seasons. We can't say that about Drake London, unfortunately. He's gotten better every year. 858, 1,059, 1,200, 77, 74, 86. He doesn't score the most touchdowns, but he scores some. He's involved a little bit in the rushing game. I just think he's a great best ball click, 4th round. I trust him more than I trust JMO, to be honest with you. But yeah, I like him at this price. Emeka, obviously, 2nd-year guy coming up. In that Tampa Bay offense with Baker, you got the guys around him getting a little bit older. So I think Emeka's a good pick here too. So let's recap the team. So started off running back, got ourselves Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley in the mid-2nd, and then came back with 2 wide receivers, Tet and Zay at 43. We got some really nice picks coming up here at the wide receiver position. Obviously, Luther Burden came on strong there at the end. Carnell Tate just goes off the board. He's the phenom coming out of Ohio State. We've had a really good year this year. Waddle, he's probably the guy in this range that I'm least confident about. I just think there's a ton of disarray, as I mentioned before, down there in Miami. The quarterback situation, you have Quinn Ewers, you have Tua, you got a new defensive coach as the head coach. I'm probably just going to see what happens with his price because I just think he's got to come down a little bit for me. Probably, I think Tyson should be a little higher, probably around this Rome range, but I think even Brian Thomas should be a little bit higher. He's really taken a hit with some of that recency bias from last season. People have forgotten he had a pretty good rookie year. But yeah, in this range, I'm probably leaning wide receiver. I like Christian Watson. Rome is fine. I like Tyson and Thomas. I'm probably, if it's me setting this, something like this, maybe, I don't know, somewhere in here. I'm going to go ahead and take the rookie upside. I just want to take that rookie swing here. I do like Watson, but I'm going to go ahead and swing for the fences here with my boy Jordan Tyson out of ASU. Check the tape. It's a sight to see. The guy's a demon. Get him on your fantasy team. But yeah, other guys in this range, I like I said, I'm taking Watson and Thomas over Waddle. Otherwise, I don't think, it's too egregious around here. Get back to the board. So Judkins, there's some good news about him today, coming out of the walking boot, should be ready for training camp. Tyson, as I mentioned, then you got Waddle. in Miami, Odunze. Harvey goes off the board, Swift, and then Thomas. And now we're seeing a little bit more action in the with the quarterbacks. So I'm gonna just kind of see what we have here on the board. Christian Watson's fallen a little bit. Let's see. All right. I'm going to, I like Marv. I like Hurts. That's what I'm seeing. And I think I'm going to go Hurts. I think he's a little underpriced here. I mean, we're talking about the mid sixth. I do have the other piece to that running game in Barkley. So kind of just buy up all those rushing touchdowns, or at least that's the theory. Maybe they regress positively from the fall from last year. I think that Harrison pick was probably pretty good there too, although he has completely underperformed since coming out of Ohio State. You know, maybe this is the season. We'll see. Nathaniel Hackett, but then he does have LaFleur, the OC, who got hired as the head coach from used to be at the Rams. So, anyway, some questions down there in Arizona that we'll have to see how they get answered this year. Otherwise, guys in this range that I like, I think there's kind of a tier break after Ramadre, and that's to say that I do like Bishal Tutin, excuse me. But there's some questions about what's going to happen down there in Jacksonville. Is ETN coming back? Is he not coming back? If he is coming back, then is this a good price for Tutin? I don't know. He's probably going to drop. If he doesn't come back, what are they going to do in the draft? So I'm going to be drafting plenty of Tutin later. I just don't know that I want to put my chips in on him right now until there's some things are more crystallized down there in the Jacksonville backfield. He is obviously pretty fun to watch, and he is explosive. So, but I do think you kind of get a tier break here because there's just a lot more certainty before in terms of every running back that's gone on the board up to this point in terms of their role and their playing time and things of that nature. And if you are looking at two, then I'm just going to wait and go with somebody like Chuba Hubbard or where's he at? Tony Pollard to some extent. And then I'm drawing a blank, but Tyler Algier thing. Yeah, Tyler Algier. Excuse me. So we got Parker Washington. We got Michael Wilson, who's going to be a free agent. And then we have Alec Pierce, who's also going to be a free agent. So some interesting choices on the board right here. Fannin as well. Alec Pierce. Okay. For me, it's between Fannin and Alec Pierce. I am going to go with Fannin. Fannin was an absolute stud as a rookie. 4 picks past ADP, so not a ton of extra value, but some. He's a pass catching tight end. I mean, he's basically Trey McBride, East, I guess you could say. In Cleveland, I mean, just an absolute stud as a 21-year-old rookie. He put it on pretty much for all of last year. I mean, starting in training camp, but really just kind of middle back half of last year was just totally awesome. So love me some Fannin. I think he's a unique player and prospect on the board at this, just this area in terms of his upside and his profile. And he does seem to have a good connection with Shedeur Sanders. Get back to the board. Let's see what's happening on the board. So after I took Fannin, we had Parker go off next. Tutin after that. Kraft, whom I like, but he's hurt, and he's coming back from an ACL tear. Pierce. Lawrence gets stacked up with Thomas and ETN. This guy's assuming ETN's coming back to Jacksonville. Maybe he may or may not. Pittman and Johnson, and then comes back with Herbert to stack with McConkey. Mahomes, and then Stafford and Prescott. Manungai is sliding a little bit here. He worries me. I'm gonna go ahead and play the Carolina. Get a little. I guess I'm gonna start to build out Carolina here, and I do like Chuba. He's kind of on this yo-yo, right? And this is what we do as fantasy players. We overvalue them one year, and they underperform, and we get pissed off, and then we undervalue them the next year. Now you're getting Chuba in the 90s. For those that don't know, Rico Dowdle is a free agent. He is going in pick 100, which to me is kind of crazy. I know he had an awesome season last year, but before that, I mean, he had a hard time doing a whole lot on a football field. I mean, obviously he did have his little run towards the end of the year before in Dallas, but I don't know. I think he's one of those guys that's going to go shoot up the board, probably get overvalued, and then he's going to be down in the 150s next year or something. Chuba to me is a much more reliable asset, and he has a contract, and we know his playing time, so we've kind of got something going here with Carolina. After this pick, we'll recap the team. You guys can tell me what you think. Some options here. Really, can go a lot of different ways at this point. I'm going to queue up Bryce just so I don't forget about him, because I think he obviously makes sense at this point for this build. I'm going to queue him up and just so I don't forget about him. But yeah, a lot of guys in this range. Tyler Algier, obviously. Jordan Addison, he's carries some risk. Algier goes. Addison. You got Bo Nix. You can backstack the heck out of him. Yeah, so to me, it's between Bo Nix and Jordan Addison. Let's go Addison. I know we've got a lot of question marks there with JJ. We'll take Bo off. He's not coming back. But yeah, JJ's got a lot of question marks. He had a really bad year, obviously, last year. He's way down the board at like the 170s. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. They just fired their GM after trading away Sam Darnold, who went off and won a Super Bowl. So a little bit of dysfunction up there in Minnesota, although you got to love the coach. I think he does a great job. Get back to let's just wait for this pick. CJ Conception, I'm sorry. Sorry, Casey. You're just overpriced in this range, if you're asking me. I think he's a rookie. He's not a great prospect. He's never cracked 1,000 yards in college. I don't know. That's just too steep of a price. Godwin, of course. Of course, Godwin. Who's with me? We got Baker, Bo. Yeah, Bo goes. Thought that would happen. I'm going to go Chris Godwin. I mean, Chris Godwin going around guys like Wendell Robinson, Jawan Jennings, Khalil Shakir. I'm sorry, but that's blasphemy. Let's see. 8 picks away. Recap the team real quick. So we got Hurts at quarterback, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Chuba Hubbard as our third, Tet, Zay, Tyson, Addison, Godwin, and Harold Fannin. So I think this is a solid squad coming together pretty nicely. Thinking. Goddard, I would say, oh, Goddard, but Goddard's a free agent. I don't know if he's coming back to Philly. That's not necessarily a stack. It's not to say that in and of itself he's not a good pick in this range, but I'm not buying a stack. Shakir's fine. He has his he has his games. Golden, we're hoping for a breakout. He had a pretty bad rookie year. I think he had about 1.5 yards per route run, which was okay. 0.6 maybe. Lots of competition there. Dobbs is going to be gone. I think he's fine in this range. Same with Higgins. I kind of alternate between these two. Hoping for like a second year breakout on these guys. A lot of people like Emmett Johnson out of Nebraska. He's involved in both the passing and running game. I'm not going to get Bryce back. So I'm going to take Bryce here. He's got a starting role. And you can make a case he should be going in front of Mendoza. You can make a case should be going in front of Stroud, or at least Stroud and Bryce could be going in front of Mendoza. So I don't think this is like an egregious reach or anything. I get the stack. Chuba obviously isn't super involved in the passing game, but I get the stack with Tet. Kind of get that laid out. Little skinny stack there. So Hurts and Bryce Young, Taylor, Barkley, Hubbard, Tet, Flowers, Tyson, Addison, Godwin, and then Fannin at tight end. I think that's pretty good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I can handle the heat. Don't worry about it. Appreciate y'all being here. Happy to do this best ball draft with you. Mendoza, Stroud. I think those guys are out. If you want to get your third, there's a lot of other question marks in this range. You've got Dobbs, free agent. We'll see where he ends up going. Shaheed, free agent. He wants to run it back with Seattle, but what's going to happen there? Murray, tons of question marks. You got, I like Cam as well. Kind of get your pick here of Mendoza or Stroud, but I'm going to go ahead and get Stroud. And there's a couple ways you can backstack him. You got Schultz at tight end. You've got Jalen Knoll, second year guy, who will hopefully see an increase in playing time. I feel good about this. I don't have to worry about quarterback the rest of the way. I'm done at quarterback, and I have some backstacking options on the table for Stroud, which I think, Schultz fits in kind of nicely with somebody like Fannin in terms of when you want to reinvest. You get a little bit of a stack. You get possibly Knoll there. So it gets interesting. There's some nice running back pieces coming up. Oops, get back in here. Connor, he's old and he's on a team with a ton of question marks. I don't know. I'm having trouble clicking Connor. Let me know what you guys think. Tyreek Hill, he's not unemployed at the moment. Kenyon Sadiq, he's a demon out of Oregon. He's going to be a first-round draft pick most likely. I think he's a great pick here, just at his price and his upside. Easy to click on Sadiq here. Jawan Johnson, really came on last year. Travis Kamara getting up there, super inefficient, running between the tackles. Still involved in the passing game, so I'm not sure what to make of Kamara. I have been clicking him, but it's an interesting bet. What's going to happen with Travis Hunter? Is he going to play offense? Is he going to just play corner? I don't know. There's questions there. Lots of questions here. So he went Booty. I'm neither leaning Sadiq, Andrews, or just kind of coming down and getting like a Tajay Spears here. Kind of like Spears. I kind of wanted to get that fourth running back at this point. So I'm going to go get Spears. He's a good player. What's going to happen with Pollard? I don't know. We have an ascending offense. Hopefully, they brought in Brian Daboll to run the offense. Spears in the 150s on a team that's hopefully getting better, who definitely improved their offensive coordinator and their coaching staff this offseason. Hopefully, Cam takes a step forward as the quarterback. So that's interesting. But yeah, give me Spears here. I'm good with that. And then these guys, we'll have to see, what they want to do at tight end. So he goes Kelsey. Sadiq is falling at this point significantly. Andrew's still on the board. Both those guys are falling. Yeah, I don't love Jerry Jeudy, but I like his role. Pat Bryant, he seems to have a little bit, of a role as well, but maybe not quite as clear. So it's not a surprise, I guess, that Jeudy goes off a little bit before Pat Bryant. Sean Tucker, Rachaad White. Oh man, at this much of a fall, I have to take Sadiq. Just have to do it. Rookie upside. You got Fannin, who's established. We know he's going to play a nice role in that offense in Cleveland. Hopefully they take a step forward. God, it's the Browns. I just hope they take a step forward. But Kenyon Sadiq, first round talent out of Oregon. He's gonna be awesome. I don't know if he's gonna hit his first year, but he has the upside to do it. So I like that bet. This is a really well balanced build so far. We're at 3-4-5-2. Hurts, Young, Stroud, Taylor, Barkley, Hubbard, Spears. Definitely want to continue make some investments at both the running back and the wide receiver positions at this point. But we have a nice 4, I think. Taylor, Barkley, Hubbard, Spears, and we have a nice 5 at the wide receiver position in Tet, Flowers, Tyson, Addison, Godwin. And we'll have some stacking options here. I think coming up. Other guys that I like making bets on in this range, definitely not Calvin Ridley. I'm sorry, Calvin, but you just continue to disappoint. DK is interesting. I also like Elijah Sherratt, the rookie out of Indiana, who put it on tape this year. Absolute demon. He's not projected to be a first-round pick, but he knows how to get open. He's very crafty at his skill. Trey Harris. I like Trey Harris. I liked him coming out. I like him in that offense. I like him tethered to Herbert. They're getting the upgrades at tackle this year with Joe Alt. I also like Kamani Vidal a lot. So give me, yeah, I'm gonna make a bet on Vidal here, and then we're gonna get back to work at the wide receiver position. But Vidal, look at the guys he's going around. You got Katron Allen, rookie. There are a lot, lots of questions around him. Joe Mixon's hurt. Dylan Sampson, I like him, but we've got good news coming out of Cleveland today for Quinshon Judkins being out of a walking boot. So, we have Kamani Vidal, who put it on tape this year, shows he can rip off a 65-yarder, shows he can score, 2-3 touchdowns in a game if they ask him to do it. Obviously, he's going to be playing behind Omarion Hampton or be playing alongside Omarion Hampton, but he's going to get his time. I think he kind of cemented himself in that number 2 role with the way he did this year. So, and he's involved in the passing game, as is Spears. So, um, I like those 5. You almost, you could tack on a 6th. Don't even know if you need 7 on this team. We're getting a little bit of a stack up here too at wide receiver. So hopefully not all of that clears out and get a few of the guys I like in this range. I am having trouble clicking Dell. I know I could stack him with Stroud, but man, that injury was tough. And I just want some more news. I mean, he's more of a guy I'm going to draft in like training camp when you really see him, the reports and stuff. So to me, it's between Elijah Sherratt and Trey Tucker. I've kind of already played the rookie upside game, and I do like Sherratt, but I like Trey. He put a lot on tape last year. I think he's definitely gonna have a pretty established role there. He's getting the quarterback upgrade. He's getting the coaching upgrade. Hopefully, he's getting some O-line upgrades as well. So give me Trey Tucker. I just like his profile for best ball too. Super spiky. I mean, that 3-touchdown game last year against Washington, that was really, really nice. So I don't know how you all feel about Trey Tucker, but I am a fan. Other guys in this range, Torrey Horton. I mean, at this price, yes. Alec Manor, Brian Robinson. I mean, he's a pending free agent, but in this range, I think yes. Gotta at least consider him because look at some of the tier breaks. I mean, you get like Keaton Mitchell, Emmanuel Wilson. I like Ray Davis as well. Caleb didn't do anything last year, but second year guy. What do you guys think about the squad so far? Let me know in the comments. Let me know wherever you can. Got to get back to the board a little bit for you guys. I'm sorry. I'm so bad about that. Let's see. Mixon. Wow. At 190. The McCarthy goes. This guy's got an interesting team with Penix, McCarthy, Mayfield. Surratt goes at 194. And we are 3 picks away. Done at quarterback. So we're looking at running back, wide receiver at this point, maybe tight end. Obviously, Hawk at this price is crazy. So that's definitely an option. I didn't get that Schultz. I guess I probably just kind of missed that, or I didn't see where he went, where Schultz went off the board. Robinson goes. You got Ellick and Hawk at this point. Gunnar Home over a Hawk is criminal. That should literally be illegal. I get it. He's going to have a role, but I mean, come on, TJ Hawkinson, first rounder at 198. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, guys? Get a little bit of that Minnesota, consolidate a little bit on that Minnesota passing game. But at 198, TJ Hawkinson. I love the texture of this tight end room. You got Fannin, who we saw can put up 30 points. You got the rookie upside in Sadiq, and then you got a bounce back and very well priced asset in TJ Hawkinson. 198, guys, nearly 200 for TJ Hawkinson. I know he had a bad year, but come on. This is why best ball is beatable, folks. All right, we're done at tight end. We're done at quarterback. We are into adding a 6th running back and a 7th or 8th wide receiver here. I am going to Flournoy and Darnell Mooney and Jalen Knoll. Where are you? Jalen Knoll. Somebody take him. Okay, I'm going to go Flournoy. No. Hey, Jalen Knoll. Ah! I did like Flournoy. I'm just worried I'm not going to get Knoll back. So I kind of wanted to squeeze up and get him. But that's okay. There's more value there, I think, in Flournoy at, 211, going at 207. Hope I get Knoll back in 9 picks. Don't know that I want to wait till the end. It's going to be a little closer than I was hoping. But that's okay. But yeah, Mooney, I think down here probably deserves to be a little bit higher. Cooper Kupp deserves to be a little bit higher. The rest of the guys kind of make sense, kind of where they're going. Najee, I mean, I know it's an Achilles, but that's a grown man playing football. He's going to be on a roster. So, got to give, I'm definitely still clicking Najee. We play for week 17. Excuse me. Yeah, week 17. Like, which week is it? Appreciate you guys being here, though. It's always fun doing these best ball drafts. I don't care if I'm talking to myself or I'm talking to an audience of 100 people. The fact that you guys are here with me, I appreciate it. We have to make it 4 more picks without losing my boy. I like Neal there. Like Claiborne. Kind of do a lot with that last running backs, that last pick, because we just want some low ownership. Try some different things. Yeah. 2 picks away. The God's gonna let us have them. I don't know. Other thing I like to do while we're waiting is before we know schedules. God dang it, you son of a gun! Took them from me. Let's go Malachi Fields. Let's get some more rookie upside. Notre Dame. Take a couple stabs at the rookies, and then we'll kind of wrap this thing up with a final running back. I kind of like LaQuint Allen, Isaiah Davis, and Jordan James. I'm gonna go with one of those 3 if they're left. Or Najee, if he's there. Najee's definitely in the mix. But before we know schedules, one thing I like to do is try to get guys in the the same division. So Houston, Tennessee, that could be a week 17 matchup. You see those divisional games kind of pop off on week 17, and they set it up that way a lot of times for the NFL. Didn't get a ton of that. A little bit here with Tampa Bay and Carolina, and then did I get any NFC North? I guess not. Oh yeah, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and then because that was really it. But I do try to do that where I can. So something to think about when we're, drafting pre-schedule. Damon, Claiborne, Isaiah Davis, LaQuint Allen, Najee Harris. One of these guys. Najee goes, so I'm going to go Isaiah Davis. Just looking for a low ownership piece here. what happens if Brees goes, doesn't get re-signed in free agency? That could propel Isaiah Davis to get more touches. Obviously, he's not going to necessarily be the lead back, but who knows? So let's go ahead and recap the team. Then we're going to do one more draft, and we'll call it a night. Probably take a quick break here. All right, so Jalen Hurts, and kind of got that piece there with Saquon to kind of vacuum up the rushing touchdowns and rushing game. We have Bryce Young stacked up with, Chuba Hubbard and Tet. CJ Stroud didn't end up getting any of the backstacking pieces that I wanted, but that's okay. Maybe Sadiq goes there or something. Who knows? At the running back position, I think that's strong though. You have a rushing quarterback in Hurts, and then these guys can scramble. They're both on ascending offenses. They both have very established roles. I think you can count on points all year long from all three of those guys outside of injury. The running back position, we have Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Chuba Hubbard, Tajay Spears, Kamani Vidal, and Isaiah Davis. At the end, at the wide receiver position, Tet, Zay, Jordan Tyson, Jordan Addison, Chris Godwin, Trey Tucker, Ryan Flournoy, and Malachi Fields. And then a really well-textured tight end room in Harold Fannin Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, and the very underpriced TJ Hawkinson. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I think this came together pretty nicely. I like the structure 3-6-8-3. I think going early running back there and then getting Chuba within the first 100 picks kind of gave us some leeway in terms of what we wanted to do there. If we go 5, 6, 7, but I feel good about the 6. Obviously there's some questions there how things kind of played out at the end. I wanted Noel over Malachi Fields, but I'm okay with this build. So we'll go ahead and wrap up this draft, and we'll jump into one more big board, and then we're going to call it a night. Confirm. Alrighty. We are 11 away. I'm going to go and take a quick break, get some water, and then we're going to smash this second draft. All right, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys. Grab yourselves a drink and come on back for another awesome big board draft. All right, I'm back, and you guys are still here. Awesome. Thank you for not abandoning me. We're going to have a really awesome second draft here, waiting for 4 people. Let's see. While we wait, I guess let me take a drink of water and then talk a little bit about last year's best ball season. So last year, in terms of, what I didn't do big board last year. So it's my first year doing big board or little board, any of the biggest, bigger, big, whatever. Didn't do any of that pre-draft stuff. Did max out BBM last year for the first time. The year before I did, I think it was like 75 drafts. And then last year did the full 150. I got 5 teams to the round of 16. So that's the round right before the finals, the 588 seat final. I got 5 teams in the round of 16 and they all came up short. So I didn't get a team into the finals last year, but I do see that as a really solid season. Getting 5 teams to the round of 16 is not easy. I also did make the finals last year in the Pointer, the Time Box tournament. I think it was like an $11 buy-in, max like 7 entries or something. So got into the finals at the Pointer, and then also made the finals in the Husky 2, and made the finals in another, was it Pointer, and it was one of the other dogs that starts with a P. Can't remember. So there was 3 finals on the table in the Time Box tournaments, and then 5 teams that gutted out in the round of 16 in BBM. So a good season. Obviously, I want to build off of that success from last year. I want to make a BBM finals this year. That's a goal. Obviously, want to make some other finals in some of the other Time Box tournaments, and I want to win a tournament, right? I think we all need to have goals and go out and try to achieve those goals. So kind of laying those goals out for this year right now. But, one of the main goals is to make a BBM finals and obviously win a tournament, be it, no matter how hard that is, I'm going to strive for that level of success. And to help us do that, that's why we're here, right? We got to put in the reps. We got to put in the work. We got to talk shop. We got to talk theory. We got to build good teams with good structure and good texture, and really aim for that max upside. I just did a draft for those that were just here. We got the 106 in the last one. We got the 106 in this one. So we'll see how the board falls differently. This should kind of make it fun in a sense, because we're in the exact same spot, and we'll probably likely build a very different team. Although that doesn't have to be the case. It's just, the odds are we'll end up differently. So yeah, that's a little bit about my, so this is year 3, and guys, like I said, a little bit about my history in playing best ball. This is year 3. Year 1, was really just a learning experience. I didn't do that well year 1. Year 2, made multiple finals, got to the round of 16 with 5 teams in BBM. And then now year 3, we are going to make a finals, BBM finals this year. And yeah, hopefully make some other finals here in tournaments such as the big board. So let's go make it happen. Starting off exactly the same as the last one. And I'm getting the same choices. I just picked Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to just have fun this round and do something a little bit different. And I'm just going to pull up Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe try to shake up the board a little bit, maybe try to get a unique combo in the first or second rounds. I don't think this is egregious by any stretch. I think he's cemented himself as somebody on that team that's going to get 190 targets, maybe 200 plus targets. So yeah, St. Brown, a little bit different, but every draft can't be the same. And this could give us an opportunity for some cool combination, unique combination that isn't going to exist in the tournament, or is going to, maybe exist in much lower numbers. And I'm not just trying to be like edgy here or something like that. We do want to look for, unique combinations in the first 2 rounds, trying to get, builds that nobody else has, excuse me. So with that being said, going up a little bit here for St. Brown at 6. Taylor goes right after that, Lamb, and then McCaffrey, Cook, Genty. This is kind of how I see it, more so than like the last one where HN was up a little bit higher than I would have thought. I just think, this order makes a little bit more sense. Jefferson at the 1-2 turn, things like that. So anyhow, everybody has their rankings, and we've got to stick to those rankings for the most part, but also try to create unique combinations as well. Love goes pretty early here. Jeremiah Love, the stud out of Notre Dame. I think we're all well aware of who he is. If you're not, you've been living under a rock, and I suggest you get out from underneath that rock and go learn about him, because he's an absolute demon. Hampton, Chase Brown gets pulled up. Looking for kind of a cool combo here. McCaffrey, Brown. That's interesting. The Neighbors and Trey McBride. Okay. Well, shucks. I am gonna say screw it and go get my boy Bowers. We are not drafting any running backs in the first 2 rounds this time, where the last time we drafted 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds. So this build is already distinctly different. I don't think anybody would, bat too much of an eye if you pulled up Bowers, towards the back of the early part of the second, if you were getting Amon-Ra, say at like 8 or 9. So yeah, is this maybe the most unique combination? Maybe not, but I don't see it all the time. It's definitely going to be there's going to be smaller number of these combinations with St. Brown and Bowers. Oh, there are some choices here. Might have a running back of option. We'll see. 3 running backs with 3 to go. I like all 3. I would draft all 3. I like Kyren too, and there's kind of a tier break for me there with Travis. I can't get there with ETN. Okay, the running backs go. Well, screw it. There's a tier break, and I like Kyren. So I'm going to take Kyren. All right, yeah, I see a tier break right here after Kyren when it comes to Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne had a good year, if we're being, if we're going to be honest. It wasn't a great year. It was a good year. He's been inefficient for a while. He was still inefficient last year. He was buoyed last year by a lot of touchdowns in the receiving game, which was not something he had done in the previous 3 years. If we look at his stats, 0, 1, 0, 6, and that's going to happen again. I don't know. That seems like there's some regression coming. He's also not guaranteed to be back with Jacksonville. So where's he going? And then 1,000-yard seasons for 3 years, but they're not the most efficient 1,000 yards. Takes 260 carries to get there. So, anyways, I just think that his price is rich. He should be going lower. And I do like Kyren. I like the offense. I like where it's going. I like his role in that offense. Is he the most athletic running back? No, but he always puts up points. So give me some Kyren. Kind of an interesting build going so far. Kyren Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brock Bowers. Got some running back value that kind of tapers off after this kind of second tier here. I would say after Swift. No, actually, it comes down to where is it? Rhamondre. I think after Rhamondre, we can have our next tier break. All right. Smith, Adams. Ooh, Adams, that seems rich. Amika. I kind of like Amika here. I know I could get some correlation there with Adams, but man, Amika, he looked good the first half of last year. Then he just like completely disappeared. Really not sure what that was all about, but he was a good prospect coming out of Ohio State. I think he's, you heard all the talk from Baker on how much of a professional he was. I think he's going to put it on next year. I like second year breakout wide receiver. Guys that have second year breakout upside. Baker loves to sling the rock. I think they're kind of gonna, reshape that offense a little bit. So give me Emeka Egbuka at 43. Other guys I like there, Travion, Cam, Scatabo. He's fine, but he should be going a little bit lower in my opinion. I think he should be going probably closer to Judkins. They're kind of in a similar vein in terms of probably after Judkins, maybe even, but in that range. I'm going to take Travion and Harvey over Scatabo for lots of reasons. Offensive lines, quarterback quality, coaching quality, quality of the team in general. Scataboos, there's a lot of question marks there. So why is he going above these two guys? I don't know. Harvey, and then Makai Lemon. Keep saying Malachi. So if you guys hear me say Malachi, just like put something in the comments. Be like, dude, earn your players. What the hell are you doing out here? No, but Makai Lemon is sick, and he just went. Damn it. It's okay. If I could get one of these two running backs, that would be super sick. I don't know if it's gonna be close. That would be cool. Okay, yeah, this guy just did me a favor. Thank you, Net Plus. And if you're listening, I'm not talking too much crap. So Henderson goes, man, I kind of like Harvey. I think that's kind of a fun pick. We don't know what's going, if they're going to bring anybody else in. I think he's a jitterbug. He's active in the passing game. He got better as the year went on. We look at his stats real quick. He is an older prospect, and I wasn't thrilled that they took him in the second round for a 24-year-old. But 540 yards in the rushing game, 7 touchdowns. That's nice. And then 350 yards in the 47 receptions, though, and 5 touchdowns in the receiving game. So I think that's pretty solid. And man, he's playing behind a really good O-line. Playing with Bo Nix. There's a Bo Nix stacking option here. think Tyson's really well priced, as do I think Brian Thomas is priced well. Sutton's fine, as are these quarterbacks. Ooh. Get back to this board real quick. Okay, so I'm probably taking Henderson if he gets there over Harvey, if I'm being honest, but they're pretty interchangeable for me. Swift, then Judkins, so a little run right there on running backs. Then we go all wide receivers. The next four: Waddle, Watson, Odunze, Evans. Evans, like that price on Evans. Thomas, definitely like Tyson here. And then we've got some quarterbacks coming off the board. That's a Chase Brown kind of Burrow thing going. Okay. Stevenson and Warren are kind of your true tier breaks there. Okay. Guess I could do Cortland Sutton or Marvin Harrison. Sutton isn't fun. There's nothing fun about Sutton, but I think I'm going to try to get a little bit of a Bo Nix stack going here. I like these guys are both involved in the passing game. I think Bo Nix would be a sweet pickup here around pick 100 if I can pull that off. Harrison's fine, but man, he just hasn't put it together, and now we've got a lot of risk in Arizona in terms of that offense. I do like LaFleur, but Nathaniel Hackett doesn't instill any confidence in me whatsoever, and he's the OC. So, it's an interesting pick. I think Warren's fine. Last year he was going about 20 picks later, so he's definitely, been priced up with how bad Caleb did. So I don't know. I think it's a little rich for Jalen. I think this is about as much as I want to pay. Love Fannin. I love his game. He's not injured like Tucker Kraft, although I like Tucker too, but he's coming back from an ACL injury. Ricky Pearsall seems reasonable in this price range, given that Jennings is going to be gone and Kittle's hurt. Yeah, Case, the other wide receivers on that team don't really instill much confidence. For those that were here in the last one, you probably saw that I took Fannin, so not going to do that here with Bowers, most likely. Oh, Pearsall. I know he hasn't been able to stay healthy, but I mean, who is Bauer? Who is? I'm trying to blank. Why am I drawing a blank? Purdy gonna throw to? I mean, it's got to be Ricky, right? Assuming he can stay healthy. So that feels pretty nice for a wide receiver run. One pick 78. Get a little bit of divisional correlation there too with Kyren and the Rams. I've got the Denver Bronco and Las Vegas Raider thing going on here too, with some divisional correlation since we don't know schedules yet, and there's a possibility that the Broncos play the Raiders week 17. Those divisional matchups that the NFL likes to set up. So anyhow, let's recap the team really quick. Kyren, RJ Harvey, and then we got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Emeka Egbuka, Sutton, and Pearsall, and then Brock Bowers at tight end. So pretty cool team so far. I want to definitely star Brock and Bo. I think both those are interesting picks here with the next two. Want to come away with one of them. prefer to come away with both of them. And then this could either be a 2 quarterback build or you tax somebody on like really late. If you find some like falling value, get like a Cam Ward or I don't know, just kind of see what happens. But yeah, I think ideally I'm able to swoop up Bo Nix and or Purdy here. If I don't get Purdy, because I'm going to take Bo first if I can get him, and then if I'm going to take Purdy might go, then you have an option to maybe get like a Baker, and I like his price this year too. Got steamed up into like the 60s and 70s last year after being able to get him in like the 120s the year before. Now you're getting him back in the 1 teens. So yeah, I just kind of like Tucker at 82 is appealing, but I'm not gonna be tempted. Give me my Bo. I know it's a little ahead of ADP, but give me my Bo. I mean, why not Bo in front of all these guys anyways? Outside of, I mean, yeah, even Purdy, right, with all his issues with his receiving corps. So I think Bo is probably going to go up a little bit as the summer goes along. Appreciate y'all sticking around. Yeah, and a running back here would be wise too. Jadarian Price, Tyler Algier, definitely not Rico Dowdle. If I could get Price or Algier as my third, I would like that a lot. I do like Purdy. This is interesting because I don't want to go too late on the running back situation. And my next pick is at, where am I going to be coming up next? 115. What we got in that range? Not a lot. Not a lot of running backs. Algier goes. Okay, that's tough. All right. This is interesting. You got Sam, who's falling. You got Purdy, and you got Price. Not loving. Think I need my third. Think I need my third running back. So I'm going to go Jadarian Price, Notre Dame running back. He's not getting nearly the hype, nor should he, that Jeremiah Love is getting. But because of Jeremiah Love, he's also kind of flying a little bit under the radar. I'm not like a film grinder, but his tape is pretty sweet. So, anyways, I'm going to take a stab on Jadarian Price. I want that rookie upside. Think he's going to go pretty high in the draft from what people are saying. And it does get pretty interesting after him in terms of kind of, I do like Coleman, but then after that, you got Wayne Marks, JCM, and it really kind of gets kind of funky here. Gainwell, Emmett Johnson, Tyrone Tracy. So I don't know. I think that was probably a pretty good move to go with Price there, but there's still some good quarterbacks on the board. So I kind of figured it was all right, get like a Darnold and maybe I can backstack. Mendoza's back here. You got these other guys I was talking about, Stroud and Young. So I haven't clicked a lot of Malik Willis yet. I know people are kind of excited about that click. I haven't got there yet, but yeah, that's okay. Denzel Boston's kind of interesting too as a rook. Okay, I'm gonna play this. Well, if Godwin's there, man, how do I pass up on Godwin? They pass up on Godwin at 114. Even like I was thinking Kittle, but God, no way. He's hurt. Like Chris Godwin. What are we doing here? Now I kind of get two pieces of that Tampa offense that I think is gonna positively regress this year. All right, let's recap the team. We have 10, we're in between 10 picks. So Bo Nix stacked up with RJ Harvey and Cortland Sutton. Kyron with Harvey, and then Jadarian Price, the highly touted rookie out of Notre Dame. And you just got some a lot of locked in targets here with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Emeka Mbuka. We mentioned Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, who else is Purdy throwing to, and then Chris Godwin, and then the demon, Brock Bowers. So I like what we're doing here. Pretty balanced, probably a little further behind on quarterback than I like to be at this point, but we have some choices. We can get Sam Darnold and possibly get Sam Darnold and backstack him. I don't know if he'll make it to us. This guy's got 2-1, 2-2. Okay, so it'll be close. If not, we've got Mendoza, who I'm not sure should be going in front of, Stroud and Young from a rankings perspective or ADP, but you could make the case. I mean, he looked really, really good in college. He is the Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to go number one overall, almost certainly, to the Las Vegas Raiders. So I do like Mendoza, and I am tempted to take him for the stack. But if Darnold is there, I just don't think I can do it. Now, if Darnold isn't there, I can do it. I can do it over guys like CJ Stroud and Bryce, although I'm not sure that's like the most wise thing ever. Since Darnold went, we're just going to take the stack. We're just going to do it. We're taking the stack. We got the AFC West divisional correlation thing going. We've got Nix and Mendoza. Nix is stacked up with Harvey and Sutton. Mendoza is stacked up with Brock Bowers. AFC West, and we have a little bit of NFC West with Kyron and then Ricky Pearsall. Other than that, I think we just have a lot of good upside here at the wide receiver position. I think we can make a case that all of these wide receivers have, some pretty high spike week upside and should get a lot of volume, I think, in their offenses. So I feel pretty good about that. The running backs, a little bit less confident there, and also need to do, got to get a third quarterback here. So we will see. I don't care too much about this range for running back, so we'll probably see what we can do with Cam Ward, Malik Willis, or CJ Stroud, and then dip our toe back in with the running backs a little bit later. Okay. Yeah. Want to get one of these three quarterbacks. Don't know where Malik Willis is going, so that'll be interesting. But he does offer some upside in the rushing game. Looked pretty good in his audition there in Green Bay when he was filling in for Love those few games. But yeah, I mean, the order for me is probably like this: 2-2-1-2. So I think there's a chance we get one back. Okay, we're gonna get one of the three. Which one? I don't know. Stroud goes. Okay, do we want to go Malik Willis or Cam Ward? think we go Malik Willis. Let's do it. Fuck it. Not clicking a lot of Malik Willis. I'm okay with it on this team. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I did it, so we're going to live with it. This guy went Cam. Did he have anything to go with it? Not really. So yeah, anyways, those are going to be our three. We're going to roll Bo, Fernando Mendoza, and Malik Willis. I like it. I like the texture. I think it offers, I just kind of like the mix there. We're going to dip back into the running backs coming up here. You got Sharbs, you got Tajay, Aaron Jones, Rashad White. Give me Rashad at the top of this list. Maybe. Obviously, I like Charbonnet. I think we all like Sharbs, but he's injured. We're in an interesting spot because we come back on it. 163. Yeah, we can't really. It's interesting. A lot of those guys will probably go. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go Rashad White. Also a little bit of pulling this guy up, but free agent, really good in the passing game. Has always been really good in the passing game. He's gonna get signed. Pick 150. ADP kind of falls apart here. So give me Rashad White. I think he's a nice 4. We're getting the rookie upside in Jadarian Price. We've got 2 established guys in Harvey and Williams. So yeah, I just kind of like the texture of that room. Aaron Jones is old. Jordan Mason isn't involved in the passing game. I don't necessarily even know why Rashad's going where he's going. I think he could be going higher. So I'm completely and utterly fine with pulling him up to pick 150. Let me know what you guys think in the audience. Let's take a look at the board. This has been fun. I don't know if you guys like the team or not, but we'll just kind of see how it played out. So kind of pulled Brown up a little bit here just to see what kind of uniqueness I could maybe get in the second round. Ended up just being Bowers, but that combo doesn't happen too often. Came back and took Kyron in the third. Feel completely okay with that. Egbuka in the fourth, Harvey in the fifth to get my second running back. Sutton after that in the sixth. Going to pick 67 around guys like Parker, Washington, Harrison, Wilson. I think that's just completely fine there. Come back and get Pearsall, the wide receiver 1 on the 49ers. Get the stack with Knicks. Come back and get the less talked about Notre Dame running back in Jadarian Price, who's still really good in the passing game and is just good overall. Godwin, who's priced too low. I think, come on, right? He's priced too low. Do you guys agree? Like Spears here. Otherwise, what do we do? What are we doing here? Like Vidal too. Good pick. Yeah, let's go Tajay Spears. I mean, I know he's only got 1 ACL, but does Jonathan Brooks even have 1 ACL? Raylan Allen's coming back from an ACL tear. Sean Tucker looked good. He's not involved in the passing game. Travis Kelce, I think he's fine. He could go lower. There's some good tight ends that are still coming up. Schultz. Hawkinson, Ferguson. Why not one of those three? Especially with like a build here, right? With like a Brock Bowers build. I think those guys make a lot of sense. Texture of that room. But yeah, I'm I like Tajay. He's healthy. He seems to find a reason to put up. I don't know. He always puts up points like championship week. Trey Harris, I like that pick at 168. Mixon, not drafting injured players. Need to see more from Brooks at this point. I guess at this price, it's fine. It gets thin down here, but not in front of like Spears. I'm not doing that. Or Tucker, for that matter. Well, we've got Elijah Sherratt. I think that's an interesting pick here. DK, that's interesting. Trey Tucker. Let's go, Trey. Bringing Trey up. Hell yeah. Why are we bringing Trey up? Because he's good, number one. Because I have Fernando Mendoza. He's a best ball player. That's what Trey Tucker is. He's good at football. And I mean, he did more than DK last year and probably will do more than DK this year. You have Surratt, who's good, but he's a rookie. We already, Tucker's already put it on tape. These other guys haven't. Tank Dell's coming back from multiple ligament knee tears. So I like the Trey Tucker pick right there. That was fun. This team is fun. All right, 8 picks away. Appreciate y'all sticking around. I hope you guys are enjoying this draft. As soon as this pick goes off, I'm hearing a child coughing, so I'm gonna have to run it real quick. But I like Hawk and Ferg. Ferg gets me kind of a few more pieces of the Rams offense, kind of stays in the NFC West. Hawk, I like Hawk a lot too. Hopefully I can get one of those two. If not, Gunnar Helm, Parkinson, Mason, Taylor, and they're still outs. They're still outs. Tiki goes. Cooper goes. Guessing one of these 2 tight ends goes here because he's only got 1. But this guy's got 3, so I might be able to get 1 back. He takes Ferg. Okay. I like Ferg. Is he going to take a 4th tight end? He's not. He goes Surratt. Okay. He goes Surratt, so I go Hawkinson. That's not bad, right? Brock Bowers, Hawkinson. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Just gotta check on my son real quick. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. All right. We got 7 picks between our next pick, so let's recap the team. We have Bo stacked up with Harvey and Sutton. We have Fernando Mendoza stacked up with Trey Tucker and Brock Bowers, all in the AFC West. Then we got our high upside, kind of who knows what, in Malik Willis. Running backs, Kyron, solid. RJ Harvey, Jadarian Price, rookie upside. Rachaad White, free agent, pick 150, heavily involved in the passing game. And Tajay Spears, same thing, but not free agent. No, not same thing, but involved in the passing game. Ascending office, Brian Dable, OC, upgrade there. Pollard's getting a little bit older. Pick 163. I like it. Let's stop and look at this board real quick. Okay, Alec. Keaton Mitchell, but he doesn't consolidate. Keon Coleman, no. No. Also like Ray Davis here. Okay, Alec or Ray Davis? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Alec. Yeah, it's tough, but I like Alec. Get a couple pieces of that Tennessee offense. Think Cam's gonna come on a little bit this year. He showed flashes last year. 198 for Alec Ailmanor. I like that. I was between him and Ray Davis. I think the Ray Davis pick is a nice pick. I do. But I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I think that rounds out the wide receivers nicely. Sorry, I'm kind of scrolling up and down here. You guys are like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Appreciate you being on here. And get me back in the screen. All right. If we're going to get one more tight end, I think it would be Cade Otton. He's also a free agent. You could go with like a Ellie Stowers rookie, Pat. Don't know that we need one with these two, so I might just say screw it and stop at 2 with Brock and Hawk. But there's a case to be made for a third in a 20 round draft like big board. Otton goes. Nobody wants McCarthy apparently, or Brissett, or Shador. What do we do? Mike Washington Jr., if he can get back to me. Be another nice rookie piece to add to the room. He's been going up the board. I like Brashard Smith. I think he kind of came on a little bit there. We got a little thing going on with NFC West games here. So it's probably between these two for me. Brashard Smith and Mike Washington Jr. Sanders. So pick my poison. Pick my poison. I'm going to go Mike Washington Jr. Rookie. I think he's out of Arkansas. Good size, speed combo, which I look for in backs. Gets us our 6th. 2 running backs that are rookies. I think that's entirely fair. And, I like to get some rookie upside at the running back position, in a little bit at the wide receiver position when I can. Didn't do that this draft, but that's okay. Definitely got some young talent in here with like Alec and Amika, 2+ second-year guys, and then a little bit some older assets there. All right. 2 more clicks. We are looking at a 3-7-8-2 or a 3-6-8-3. You can kind of go a couple different ways here. I have the hardest time clicking Keon Coleman right now. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Tez is kind of fun as a low ownership piece. That would be a lot of Tampa Bay pieces, but that could be fun if it's too many. So like Noel. Oh, well, I'm gonna go Noel. I like Rashard Smith too, but I think I've just got it. I've got to go Noel. Jalen Noel, second year guy out of Iowa State. Kind of came on towards the end, had a touchdown, long touchdown in that playoff game against Chargers, but was slowly coming on as the season went along. I think that rounds out this wide receiver room really nicely, actually. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Emeka Egbuka, Cortland Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, Chris Godwin, Trey Tucker, Alec Manor, and Jalen Noel. That's going to be my 8 I'm rolling with here. I like it. We go Brock Bowers and Hockenson at tight end. We could add a third, but we can definitely stop at 2. I mean, you could stop at 1 with Brock Bowers, honestly, if you really, really want to push it and take a 0-1 week. But I think with Hawk, I feel good about the 2. I don't necessarily want to just slam in a third. I don't really see anything here. So we'll just tack on a running back, and we're going to end up with a 3-7-8-2 build. I think that's good structure based on kind of where our capital came in. We did 2 in the top 50, and then we really didn't come back until pick 100, and they've kind of just been, tacking things along as we go. So I think 7 makes sense in the running back room. Bo with the upside of Mendoza, and then Malik kind of with his rushing and passing to some extent upside. But where's he going to go? He's going to get a deal in free agency, probably to be a starter. So yeah, this is a good best ball team. I feel good about it. I could have went some Cam Ward here, and then knowing I get Spears and Ellick, in hindsight that would have been cool, but I don't. Who's to say it would have turned out the same way? So yeah, I think Najee or Neal, and then Claiborne. Who knows what Claiborne's going to be? So Najee or Neal for me here. Let's go Najee. I know he's coming back from his injury, but we play for week 17. So to get him at 235, normally goes off around 220. I like it a lot. All right, that does it. Let's recap. And you guys can tell me whether or not this is a good or bad best ball team. We look for rookie upside, spike weeks, correlation. In this case, some divisional correlation because we don't know schedules. Let's go through it. Bo Nix, Fernando Mendoza, and Malik Willis. I think that's a solid running quarterback room. Is it the most solid? No, but it definitely has the pieces you need to win. Running backs, Kyren Williams, RJ Harvey, rookie upside, Jadarian Price, Notre Dame. Rachaad White, free agent, Tyjae Spears, Mike Washington Jr., rookie, and then Najee Harris. That's kind of a final piece to get your 7th. I think that's a solid room. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Emeka Egbuka, Cortland Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, Chris Godwin. Sutton stacked up with Bo Nix, of course, Ricky Pearsall, Chris Godwin, Trey Tucker stacked up with Mendoza, most likely, Alec Manor, and then Jalen Noel in a little bit of AFC South correlation. And then Brock Bowers and TJ Hawkinson at the tight end position. I think that's lean, but I don't think it's too lean. And you could always go 3, but with Brock, I think 2 is entirely fair. This is kind of what I like to do when I get Brock Bowers, is exactly like this. Ferguson, Hawkinson, something like that. So I like it. I like the team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys enjoyed today's stream, give me a follow on Twitter. I'm at FantasyFitIO. I'm posting all the time. I'm streaming sometimes twice a day. Try to get in 3 to 4 streams a week. Right now, I'm focused on the big board and the little board. So we'll be in here. I will have guests as the summer goes along. And I intend to do a lot of late night streams at this time. I feel like the market needs some more late night streams, and I'm here to serve. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit tonight. If not, hopefully you had fun. And apologize, I'm getting over a cold. One last plug, if you didn't see, I am a software developer, and I am working on a project called fantasyfitness.io. Go check it out. You get all the latest news in the news center. You can kind of get your front office set up, which is really just for fun. Trophy case, when you integrate your teams into the application, phone to call your buddies and talk shit. And this takes you into your quote unquote computer, where you'll have your integrated rosters if you play on FFPC or Sleeper. Your dynasty teams, you can pull them in. I pull in a social feed. I spotlight a different team, a different prospect, and a different player each day. Each player gets a player profile, so definitely check those out. Got a couple algorithms to assess team environment, talent score, and kind of the overall fantasy fitness score for your player of choice. Got some AI insights here too, where I'm running against some ChatGPT prompts that I've set up, and then some athleticism scores, team environment, and then tail of the tape. So definitely check that stuff out. We had Kyron on this team, so we'll just pull him up real quick. He's not the most talented running back necessarily, and some of these numbers are still updating. We know that he's not the most athletic, but he's in a really good team environment, and he grades out pretty well with his overall score. Comes in lower than where I drafted him, but again, this is just a metric. How did he do last year? 17 games, 259 rushes, and he was able to garner 1,200 rushing yards off of that, a 4.8 yards per attempt. He's averaged 4.6 for his career. Very solid. And he had 10 rushing touchdowns last year. So really like that production. He averages 15 rushing touchdowns per game. He's done that for his career. He did that last year. He got 73 rushing yards per game, a little over 1 rushing touchdown per game on average. And he's involved a little bit in the receiving game, not too much. He's not the most athletic. He doesn't have the best size adjusted speed, but the coaches love him. Man, he's a hard worker. Got to get some Kyron on your team, of course. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks again for sticking around, and I will be back maybe tomorrow. Who knows? And I'll have my guests here soon enough. So yeah, give me a follow, share the link if you guys had fun, if you learned something, and we'll be back soon. So anyways, peace, fellas, ladies, have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.